Hi everyone, what is crack-a-lackin', and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel for the first time if you just stumbled upon this video. So I do want to give some wedding updates. I've only done really one update so far, if you don't count bridesmaids boxes, but I kind of wanted to dive in to how far along I am in the planning, as well as all of the things that have changed since I started planning. I'm going to start off with things that have changed since we have been engaged and since the first video. So the first video I was kind of just, speaking into the air of what I thought would be kind of fun, what I thought would be kind of cool, and we're not going to really do about half of what I said. So off the bat, we're not going to be in a barn slash outdoor reception venue. We're not going to do food trucks. And those are really the big things that I can think of that we're not gonna do. I still think those options are really super cool and super fun. However, they just don't work around our area. Like, there's just not a really great venue to do that. So for the things that we have already accomplished so far, we have found our church, we have found our reception hall, we have found our caterer, and we have found our photographer. And as you know from that first video, those are the things that I was stressing about. The great thing about having our church and our reception hall is our date is set. Set, baby! Before I get too far into it, I do want to mention that my fiance Colin has been super helpful throughout this entire planning process. Now, at the beginning, we were kind of stressing each other out when we were looking at the different venues. We both kind of just had different ideas, like what we wanted to roll with. We both kind of had the same color scheme in mind, as well as what we wanted like the decor to look like a little bit. I don't know if he thought about it as much as I did. However, he's liked the things that I've suggested, so there is that. The venue was a super big thing, so we did really like tag team that. We were working really hard together to get that done. And now with all the little details, he is still super helpful. However, there are things that like obviously I'm gonna think of that he's not, because it's just, the way a woman looks at a wedding versus the way a man stereotypically looks at a wedding. So a lot of the things I'll be like, these are what I really like, which ones do you like? And then we can kind of find a happy medium. Or if I send him, oh hey, I'm looking at centerpieces, like these are the ones I'm thinking, then he'll look up ones and then send me them, and we'll kind of go from there on what we're thinking together. And that's been like super helpful, and it's also really nice to actually have his input, because that way he can't say he didn't. Right now he's on a mission to find invitations. I kind of have an idea of what I want, but I want to know what he wants. So he hasn't shown me any yet, but I'm very excited to see what he finds and like what he likes, because I don't know, it does surprise me. Moving into our venue. So we did go on 2 tours. The first tour we went on was Colin's choice, and it was a decent choice. They had on-site catering, plenty of parking, a nice cocktail area, as well as a nice reception area. The thing that really hung me up is the floors. The floors were neon green, lime green, not neon, lime green and burgundy, and the decoration, the aesthetic of the whole place was 20s 30s art deco, which is gorgeous and beautiful, but not what I want to do. It wasn't in the vibe of what was circling in my mind. I want everything to be fresh. I want it to kind of be open, and being able to have like dark flowers and maybe some dark accents, but the space being bright enough that allows for that. That's kind of what I was looking for, and it just wasn't there for venue number 1. So the second venue and the last venue that we did tour is actually the one we ended up going with. This place was beautiful, and it is beautiful, and I cannot wait to have my reception there. So it's so big, airy, there's so much room, so if our guest count grows, or even if we just want to have space for the kids to run around in, because I swear kids run around all the time at weddings. So I absolutely love this space. The arches and the lighting are phenomenal. The team there is great. Some of the perks coming from the bride side and the groom side is they do have 2 suites, a bridal suite and a groom suite. The bridal suite is actually still being renovated, and so I was unable to get pictures of that because there was no ceiling when we went and they were putting in the floors. So by the time we do get married, obviously it's going to be done. So I'm very excited because there will be plenty of space for me and my ladies to get ready the day of. And then the groomsmen suite is actually above our cocktail area. So the cocktail area is a mixture of a car museum slash a World War II museum, which is a little different, but I really like the idea of being able to give our guests something to do during cocktail hour. But back to the groom's suite. So there's like a pool table and there's like connections for like Xboxes or whatever. So that's going to be really nice for him and his guys. And it is on either side of our actual venue, so we won't see each other at all. And I did jump into that cocktail space just a minute ago, but I absolutely love the idea of being able to give our guests something to do, because I swear watching guests stand around and stare at each other at a cocktail hour, especially when there's a bunch of people they don't know, is kind of like nerve-wracking if you're a guest. So I love the idea of having something else for them to look at. The next thing I was kind of stressing about was the photographer, because I really wanted somebody that fit my vibe. I don't know if you can tell just from either my Instagram or just from the videos that I make, but I'm really not into the big airy white backgrounds. I mean, I'm currently in front of my bed sheet, but that's because my walls are orange, and it's even sickening me to continue watching the the yellow. It is sickening me to watch the yellow walls while I'm editing, so I needed a change of something. So I'm really not a airy white overexposed aesthetic. The pictures are phenomenal, but they're just not my vibe. So I did have a couple photographers selected, and then once I sent them to Colin and I was like, so what do you think about these? And he's like, well, I'd really like someone local. And they're local as far as like the city that we work in, but he wanted someone local as far as where we lived, just because it is smaller than where we work. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm prepared to search for it. And luckily enough, there was a photographer in our little small town, and she does phenomenal work, and her aesthetic is exactly what I want. It's a little bit dark and moody, but it's still bright enough to where you're not like, what is going on in that picture? It's so dark, because I have seen those and that's a bit too much, but it's just very colorful, very like dark, and kind of true to the colors that are in real life. So I'm so excited. She's been so nice so far. We have our engagement shoot planned, and she's just been amazing so far. So I'm having a great experience with her, and we have her booked. So that's the biggest thing for me. The other great thing when finding her that I was noticing is like the little add-ons. It's not just buying a photographer's time and editing and stuff. She includes different photography prints as well as albums, and then our engagement shoot is actually included in the package that we chose. And photos are one of the most important things. I don't even care if I had a 40-person wedding or a 200-person wedding. I would probably still pay the same amount for a photographer, because to me, those are the memories. Those are what you're gonna see. And so I really wanted someone who I could rely on and, you know, love their work. While I was doing research on photographers, I read over and over that it always is important that you connect with your photographer. So I'm very excited to work with her and see what we get from them. Now that the top 3 are knocked out, and I have asked my bridesmaids to be my bridesmaids, and they've all agreed. Except for one so far, because I had to ship it, and you know, it's really my fault. Ugh. But now that we have the big things out, I am so excited. I'm starting to make my list of DIY projects, things I need to buy, where I need to buy them, just the little gifts for day of, as well as the little details, like the reserve signs on the pews for my family and his family. Like, who thinks of these? I mean, obviously I did because it's on my to-do list, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm so excited to get into the details, and I won't be actually doing any DIY projects on the wedding decorations or anything until I move back up north. I still am in Florida, so it'll be another like 4 or 5 months until I actually start doing those DIY projects. but I still am excited to start making the lists for those DIY projects. Like I had previously mentioned, right now we are working on the invitations and the save the dates. We think for the save the dates, we're just going to use photos from our engagement shoot, which is in July. So we'll probably send them out late August, early September. And I mean, September 10th, 2021 is a year out still. So that's about appropriate, I feel, for what most weddings do. I really just want to get the invitations ordered, or at least kind of know what we want. So like I said, Colin's working on that right now, and I kind of have an idea, but we'll see what we end up doing. Along with invitations and save the dates, our next step is our like pastry artist, and I say that because we still want to do like a pastry bar or a dessert bar. We're not like huge fans of cake, and we think it's kind of fun and different, even though a lot of people are changing their items to like dessert bars. We will have like a small cake, maybe like, you know how first birthdays do like those small cakes. We'll probably do that just to cut and have like the photos, but we'll probably still do the dessert bar. And I have someone in mind, but I need to reach out, so that's really the next step for that. Part of the fun in getting Colin involved in the wedding is actually assigning him things. Like, I kind of found out like the cake and the dessert bar before we ever even got engaged, but I did put him in charge of finding a DJ and finding a florist. And I think I said this in my first video as well, but I'm making him find a florist because I don't have a reasonable budget in my head for flowers. And I know that sounds stupid, like I'm a grown adult, but that's not even the case. Where I work right now, the budget for flowers for most weddings is more than my entire budget for my wedding. And I wish I was exaggerating. So I do get a little nervous on, can I achieve what I want to do? And it's very overwhelming to me. So I'm having Colin take care of that, because that is something that would stress me out to the max. I also know that guys typically care about the music more, even though I'm definitely going to give him a playlist of Disney songs to play and One Direction. That's neither here nor there. But I'm putting him in charge of the DJ because I think he'll have a little bit of fun doing that. So after those big steps, I don't really know of a bunch of like vendors that we need. Obviously I need to go dress shopping, but I'm gonna do that probably in September. Colin's gonna take care of the tuxes. And other than that, I mean, it's really gonna be the little things along the way. I'm not sure if we're gonna do any like rental glasses or anything. It really depends. Our venue does have a lot of really cool stuff that we can use at no additional charge, or even if there's a smaller charge. They're kind of inventorying it right now. They recently changed like management, and they renovated the whole thing, and obviously with the bridal suite still being under renovation, it's all pretty new. The building's old, but like it's all new anyway. So the very last thing that I wanted to talk about is how I'm keeping organized, and I did get a binder, which all of the folders are black in here, and my friend so kindly pointed out, really, Cheyenne, you're gonna get black folders for your wedding? Listen, I'm not gonna get a white one. So I'm gonna cover up our locations just because, you know, too much information. But this first page is just our wedding, September 10th, 2022. And then it's in one of these little plastic boys. And I just did this on Canva. I have more plastic dividers in the back as well for when I acquire more pages. So I kind of have a stencil of like what our seating chart is gonna look like, as far as like, okay, we're doing rounds of 8. You know, who am I gonna put there? So that's gonna be really interesting to try to seat everybody. And I'm a very visual person. Like, I like having things on the internet, but I really want them in front of me in a physical copy. So I have these folders, and this one I don't believe has anything in it, but each one is labeled. So the first one is our venue, and then any document dealing with our venue. So the meal options, the contracts, the deposits, I have in here, and I have that for both our photographer and our reception venue. So our reception venue kind of is going to have like all of the catering, because they do supply catering. But yeah, so this is kind of boring because I don't really have anything in here right now, but I am setting more stuff on Canva as far as like our wedding party list with all of their phone numbers and everything. And that'll be a nice document. I have our flower girl's contact information, our ring bearer's contact information, just because, you know, sometimes you don't know that stuff. I don't know. But I also have more things like my inspiration, our guest list, which I don't think I'm actually going to print out because there's a lot of people and I would get overwhelmed immediately. One of the things in this list that I did make was the name of a vendor and then deposit 1, deposit 2. I think I have to make like 2 or 3 deposits on our reception venue. So I do have those like plainly written out so that way I know, okay, I made this deposit on this day, and then I'll have the proof of deposit in my folder. But it's just kind of nice. Again, I'm a visual person and I want to see exactly what I'm doing, making sure my bills are paid. That is that for the updates on the wedding so far. I'm so excited. It is kind of really fun, wedding planning. Like, I knew it was going to be, but I didn't know it was going to be this fun, and it's kind of intoxicating, but whatever. So thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. Let me know what you're looking forward to seeing most, whether it's like the DIYs or what florals we pick or whatever. And then if you want to follow along with my wedding journey, see what DIYs I put out, to see the wedding video, further things like that, then subscribe because it's gonna be coming. I hope you guys have an amazing day and see you later.